The wind screamed across the white wasteland. Snow fell like ashes from a dead sky. The old colony world of Varel 9 was silent. No voices, no engines, only the endless cold. Captain Eli Varen walked through the storm, his visor cracked, his oxygen running low. He had come to search for old tech buried under the ice, just another scavenger chasing pieces of a forgotten war. But that day he found something else, something alive. Through the fog his scanner beeped, a weak life signal, faint but steady. Eli followed the sound until he saw it, a small figure lying half buried in the snow beside a crashed escape pod. The pod's metal was twisted and smoking as if it had fallen from orbit. He ran closer. The figure was a girl, not human. Her skin shimmered faint blue, her hair silver like frozen water. She trembled violently, lips pale, breath shallow. Her tiny fingers were curled around a strange pendant glowing weakly. "Hey, stay with me," Eli whispered, kneeling beside her. Her eyes opened slowly, bright like distant stars. She looked at him, confused, scared. No words came out, only a trembling breath. Without thinking, Eli pulled off his heavy coat and wrapped it around her. His hands shook from the cold, but he didn't stop. "You'll freeze," he muttered. "You're safe now," the girl tried to speak. Her voice was soft, broken. One single word escaped her lips. "Mother." Then she fainted. Eli looked around. The storm howled louder. Strange shapes moved behind the clouds, dark, sharp silhouettes that didn't look like any human ship. He felt the hairs on his neck rise. Someone or something was searching the area. He lifted the girl carefully and carried her toward his rover. Every step sank into deep snow. The wind pushed against him, whispering through the empty ruins of the colony. He didn't know who she was, but his instinct screamed that she was important. Too important to leave behind. Inside the rover, warmth filled the air. The girl lay on the seat, wrapped in his coat. Her skin began to glow faintly again, small blue lights pulsing across her arms like tiny stars. His scanner went wild, unable to read her vitals. "What the hell are you?" he whispered. Suddenly, a noise came from the radio, static, followed by a low hum. Eli froze. He hadn't touched the transmitter. The signal repeated, rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. Then he realized it was coming from her pendant. The pendant projected a flicker of light, an image of a tall woman with silver eyes and flowing armor. Her face was calm, but her gaze powerful, almost divine. She looked straight at Eli for a second before the image vanished. Eli's pulse raced. That was no random transmission. That was a message. He looked at the alien girl again. Who was she? And who was that woman who appeared from her pendant? The storm outside grew darker. Lightning cracked across the horizon. The scanner beeped again. Multiple contacts approaching fast. His radar couldn't identify them. "Damn it," he muttered. He started the rover and sped away through the snow, the engines groaning under the wind. The alien girl lay silent beside him, still glowing softly under his coat. As the rover vanished into the white storm, strange lights followed in the sky, 3 glowing symbols moving in perfect formation. Eli didn't look back. He only tightened his grip on the controls and whispered, "Hang in there, kid. Whoever you are, I'm not letting them take you." Outside, the frozen world rumbled. The hunt had already begun, and somewhere beyond the clouds, something ancient was watching. The storm outside had faded to a whisper. Inside the small human outpost, Captain Eli Varen sat beside the alien girl, watching the weak pulse of blue light flicker beneath her skin. She looked peaceful now, sleeping on the old medical bed wrapped in a blanket far too big for her. Eli rubbed his tired eyes. The scanner still refused to read her vitals. The machines flickered and glitched every time he tried. Even the power lights dimmed near her. It was as if she carried her own strange energy, alive, wild, and ancient. He opened the pendant she had been holding. It was small, smooth, made of some kind of living crystal. When he turned it in his hand, it pulsed like it was breathing. He frowned. "Who are you, little one?" The girl stirred slightly, whispering again in her sleep. Eli couldn't understand the words. They were soft, melodic, from no language he knew, but one word repeated often: "Mother." He leaned closer, curiosity fighting the unease rising inside him. "Your mother. Is she looking for you?" he asked quietly, even though she couldn't hear him. That night, Eli didn't sleep. He sat near the heater, staring at the snow-covered window. The stars outside seemed brighter than usual, as if something beyond them was watching. When sleep finally took him, he dreamed. He stood in a sea of black glass. The stars were falling, shattering like sparks. And from the distance she came, the same woman he had seen in the pendant's projection. Her eyes glowed silver. Her voice echoed like thunder. "Protect her, human," she said, stepping closer. "They are coming for what I left behind. If she dies, they will awaken the dark engines again. Do not let them find her." Eli tried to speak, but his voice was gone. The woman touched his chest and the pain hit him like a burning wave. He woke up gasping, covered in sweat. The room lights flickered. The girl was awake. She sat up, looking straight at him, eyes glowing faintly blue. "You saw her?" she said slowly in broken English. Eli froze. "Wait, you can talk?" She tilted her head, struggling with the words. "You saw my mother. She spoke to you." Eli's mouth went dry. "How do you know that?" The girl placed her hand over her heart. "I feel what she feels. You dream. Because she sent you the vision." He stared at her. "Who is she?" The girl hesitated, searching for words. "She is the light between worlds. My mother, but she is gone now. Hiding." Before Eli could ask more, the base alarm screamed. Red lights flashed. His radar showed movement outside, fast, closing in. He rushed to the monitor. Drones. Military ones. The girl stepped down from the bed, barefoot on the cold floor. Her eyes glowed brighter now. "They found me. How?" "There's no signal out here," Eli shouted, grabbing his rifle. She pointed to the sky. "They always find me. They can feel my energy." The ground shook. A deafening roar came from above as something huge passed over the outpost. Eli ran to the window and saw black ships descending through the storm. Sleek, silent, and deadly. The girl looked at him with strange calm. "You helped me, so she will help you." Before Eli could ask what that meant, the lights burst. Everything went dark. For a few seconds, the only sound was the storm. Then a soft blue glow spread from the girl's hands, lighting the room like starlight. Outside, the alien ships began to move again, but this time, they were scanning for her. Eli's voice was low, filled with dread. "Whatever you are, kid, they're coming fast." The girl looked at him, unafraid. "Then we must go. Now." And with that, the adventure truly began. The wind outside howled again, carrying the sound of distant thunder. But Eli knew it wasn't thunder. It was engines. Big ones. He slammed his fist on the console, switching the old radar to manual mode. The screen flickered, static cutting through the image, but 3 giant signals were clear. Unknown ships descending fast. "They're not human," Eli muttered, his jaw tight. The alien girl stood quietly beside him, her silver hair falling across her glowing eyes. She seemed calm, too calm, as if she had seen this before. "Who are they?" Eli asked. She looked out the window, her voice soft. "Hunters. They come from the dark side of the stars." Before he could speak, a flash of light tore across the sky. The first ship fired. A pulse beam that exploded in the distance, shaking the frozen ground. The entire outpost trembled. Glass shattered. Dust fell from the ceiling. Eli grabbed his bag and his rifle. "We're leaving, now." He pulled the girl toward the back door and into the storm. Snow whipped around them like knives, the cold biting through his suit. The sound of engines grew louder, closer. "Where do we go?" she asked. "There's an old comms tower half a mile east," Eli shouted over the wind. "If we reach it, maybe I can call Earth Command." They ran. The snowstorm swallowed them, turning the world into a blur of white and shadow. Behind them, something massive landed. The ground shook as alien landing craft touched down. Strange blue light spread across the snow like veins of fire. Eli risked a glance back and froze. The ships weren't like anything built by humans. They looked alive, pulsing with light, breathing steam from their sides. Mechanical creatures walked down the ramps, tall, armored, moving like wolves made of metal. Their eyes glowed red. The girl stopped, fear flickering across her face. "They smell me," she whispered. Eli grabbed her wrist. "Then don't let them find you." A beam of red light swept across the snow, a scanner. They dove behind a fallen structure just before it passed over them. The scanner burned the snow black wherever it touched. Eli's heart pounded. "They're tracking heat," he whispered. The girl shook her head. "No, energy. Mine." Another explosion hit nearby. The shockwave threw them both into the snow. Eli's ears rang. He looked up to see one of the metal creatures moving toward them. Its steps heavy, snow melting under its feet. "Run," Eli shouted. They sprinted through the ruins. Bullets of light blasted around them, melting walls and ice alike. The girl stumbled, gasping. Eli turned back. One of the creatures was aiming directly at her. Without thinking, he jumped between them, firing his rifle. The bullets bounced harmlessly off the alien's armor. The creature raised its weapon, then the girl screamed. It wasn't a normal scream. It was a sound that cut through the air like lightning. Her hands glowed, bright blue energy pouring from her body. The creature froze mid-step, its armor cracking, melting, then exploding in a burst of light. Eli shielded his face from the blast. When he looked again, the alien was gone. Only molten metal remained, glowing in the snow. The girl collapsed to her knees, breathing hard. "I didn't mean to," she said weakly. Eli helped her up, staring in disbelief. "What was that?" She looked at her hands, glowing faintly. "Mother said it would happen when I'm afraid." Eli didn't know what to say. Somewhere above them, the alien ships were changing formation, scanning again. He tightened his grip on his rifle and looked toward the mountains. "We can't stop now." "You said there's a tower, right?" She nodded. "Then we move, before they learn what you can do." As they disappeared into the storm, one of the alien ships turned, its sensors locking onto their trail. A deep mechanical voice echoed through the air. "Target found. The child is alive." Eli didn't hear it, but the girl did. And in her glowing eyes, fear turned into something else. Something awakening. The sky burned with alien light. 3 warships hovered over the mountains like silent gods, scanning every inch of frozen ground. Captain Eli Varen and the alien girl climbed through the ruins, snow crunching under their boots, their breath turning to mist in the freezing air. Eli's visor blinked red, oxygen low. The temperature had dropped again, but they were close now. The old communications tower stood at the edge of a cliff, broken but still reaching for the stars like a ghost of a forgotten age. "We'll send a distress call," Eli said, pulling the girl along. "Once Earth Command picks up the signal, they'll send someone. We just need time." The girl's glowing eyes scanned the sky nervously. "They are listening," she whispered. Eli frowned. "Who?" Before she could answer, a strange hum vibrated through the snow. The alien ships shifted formation above them, their lights flickering like eyes. It was as if they could feel her heartbeat. They ran the last stretch. The tower loomed tall and frozen, its steel covered in frost. Eli forced open the old service hatch and pushed the girl inside. He followed, sealing the door behind them. The inside was dark. Dust floated through the air like ghosts. He powered up the control console. Surprisingly, it flickered to life. "All right," he muttered, typing fast. "If the antenna still works, I can boost a signal. Someone on the frontier will hear it." The girl stood silently beside him, holding the glowing pendant close to her chest. "Mother said humans listen to the stars," she murmured. Eli paused. "What do you mean?" Before she could speak, the screen flashed. Static. Then a strange frequency appeared, a pulse unlike any human signal. It wasn't his transmission. It was coming from outside. The girl's pendant lit up, pulsing with the same rhythm. The entire tower shook. Eli stepped back. "What the hell is this?" Then a voice came through, soft, calm, echoing through every speaker. "Human." Eli froze. He knew that voice. It was the same one from his dreams, the same one that spoke in the dark sea of stars. "Who are you?" he whispered. The voice continued, low and powerful. "You carry what must not fall into their hands. Protect the child and I will protect you." The girl's eyes filled with tears. "Mother," she breathed. The lights flickered, and for a second a holographic image appeared. The tall, silver-eyed woman, surrounded by swirling energy. Her face was kind, but her gaze could cut through steel. "She is my last light," the woman said. "They betrayed me. They will try to erase her. But she carries the key, the memory of worlds." Eli tried to ask what she meant, but the signal distorted. The hologram's face blurred. "Do not trust the sky," the voice warned. "They are listening. Run when you hear the silence." Then the tower shook violently. The roof cracked open as a red beam tore through it. The entire place exploded in a wave of heat and metal. Eli grabbed the girl and dove through a broken vent as fire swallowed the room. They hit the snow hard outside, rolling down the slope as debris rained from above. The comms tower was gone. Nothing left but smoke and burning steel. Eli coughed, pulling the girl up. "We need to move." They tracked the signal. The girl's pendant glowed again, weak but still alive. She looked at him with shining eyes. She saved us, he nodded, breathless. Yeah, but she just painted a big target on our backs. In the distance, alien ships changed course, heading straight toward the crash site. Eli checked his weapon. No more running. If we're going to survive, we need to know what they're after. The girl's voice was soft but sure. They want me, because of what's inside me. Eli looked at her sharply. What's inside you? She hesitated, then whispered, the memory of my mother's world, and the weapon she hid inside my heart. Eli's blood ran cold. Above them, the sky cracked with the sound of alien thunder. The hunt wasn't just for survival anymore. It was for the fate of 2 galaxies. The world around them was silent again. Only the soft crunch of snow and the hum of the girl's pendant broke the stillness. Smoke from the destroyed tower curled into the dark sky like a dying flame. Captain Eli Varon led the way through the ruins, his breath heavy, his mind spinning. The woman's voice, as the one from his dreams, still echoed in his head. Protect the child. Do not trust the sky. He glanced at the girl walking beside him. Her silver hair glowed faintly under the weak light of the twin moons. She looked fragile, but Eli knew now she was anything but human. They stopped at an old hangar half buried in ice. Inside, broken ships and rusted machines filled the shadows. Eli sealed the door behind them and set up a small fire. All right, he said, kneeling beside her. You said there's something inside you. A weapon? The girl looked into the flames, her expression unreadable. Not a weapon, a memory. A world that no longer exists. Eli frowned. Start from the beginning. She took a deep breath. My people were called the Sarathi. We lived among the stars long before humans learned to fly. My mother was the guardian queen, protector of the light worlds. She ruled with peace, but peace makes others jealous. Eli listened closely, his heartbeat steady but his eyes sharp. She trusted the other empires, the girl continued. But they betrayed her. They wanted her power, the core of Alara, a source of creation itself. When she refused to give it to them, they destroyed our worlds one by one. Her voice trembled. In the last moments, she tore the core apart and hid a part of it inside me. Run, she said. Sleep among the humans until the stars are safe again. Eli stared at her in silence. You're telling me you have a piece of that thing, that core elm inside you? She nodded slowly. Yes, the core makes life and destroys it. It's both. Eli sat back, rubbing his face. And those ships, Gear, they're here to finish what they started. They're the exiles, she said. Once Sarathi, now corrupted by the dark void. They serve the one who betrayed my mother, the one who calls himself the Warden of Silence. The name sent a chill through Eli's spine. And he wants the core. The girl nodded again. He wants to restart the engines, machines that can erase entire galaxies. My mother locked them away. If he gets me, he can unlock them again. Eli leaned forward. Then why didn't your mother come for you herself? She speaks through dreams, but she never appears. The girl looked down, her small hands tightening around the pendant, because she's dying. Her body was lost in the war. Only her energy remains inside the stars. Every time she speaks, it costs her more of herself. For a moment, neither spoke. The fire crackled softly between them. Eli finally broke the silence. Then we can't keep running. If she's fading, we need to fight before they find us again. The girl looked up, her blue eyes shining like crystal. Humans cannot fight them alone. Maybe not, Eli said, checking his rifle. But humans don't need to be gods to fight for what's right. The girl tilted her head. You would fight for me? Even knowing what I am? He smiled faintly. Kid, I've fought for scraps of metal and lost causes my whole life. You're the first thing that actually matters. For the first time, she smiled back. Outside, the wind carried a low hum, the sound of approaching ships. Red lights began to glow on the horizon. Eli stood up, loading his rifle. Looks like your exiles found us again. The girl's eyes narrowed. Then let them come. As the shadows of the enemy fleet filled the sky, Eli realized something. He wasn't protecting her anymore. They were about to protect each other, and somewhere far beyond the clouds, her mother's fading voice whispered one last time. The light remembers those who fight for it. The night burned red. Flames flickered against the icy mountains as alien ships cut through the clouds like blades. Captain Eli Varon stood in the frozen hangar, weapon ready, his breath steaming in the cold. The alien girl stood beside him, calm but trembling, a strange mix of fear and power. The sound came first, a low mechanical hum that vibrated through the ground. Then the sky opened. Dropships descended in lines of fire, shaking the earth as they landed. Metallic beasts with glowing armor marched out, their red eyes scanning the ruins. Eli gritted his teeth. Looks like they brought an army this time. The girl clutched her pendant. They want the core. They will not stop until I am gone. Eli glanced at her. Then we make them stop. He moved fast, setting up defense drones from his old gear, placing mines across the snow, and powering up an ancient rail turret he'd found in the hangar. The system flickered to life, weak but ready. You know how to use that? She asked softly. Guess we'll find out, he said with a smirk. The first wave arrived. Alien walkers, tall and insect-like, climbed over the ridge. Their weapons charged with a low whine before firing plasma bolts that melted ice into steam. Eli dove behind cover and fired back. His rifle cracked again and again, the shots barely scratching their armor. The girl raised her hand, blue light sparking between her fingers. Get down, she shouted. A wave of energy burst from her palm, blasting through the snow and throwing the nearest walkers into the air. Metal shattered, flames erupted, and silence followed. Eli stared, awestruck. Remind me not to make you angry. She didn't smile. They are connected. More will come, and she was right. Dozens more ships appeared on the horizon. The entire sky turned red. The hangar shook as another explosion hit nearby. The roof began to collapse. Eli grabbed the girl's hand. We moved to higher ground. They ran through the ruins, dodging falling debris. Alien drones zipped through the air, firing beams that sliced through metal. Eli turned, shot one down, then ducked behind a fallen wall. Eli! The girl screamed. He looked up just as a plasma blast hit the ground beside him. The force threw him backward. His rifle flew from his hands. Pain shot through his body. He tried to stand, but his vision blurred. The girl ran toward him, her pendant glowing brighter than ever. Stay back, he gasped. They'll... But before he could finish, the lead warship appeared overhead. Its shadow swallowed the valley. A deep mechanical voice echoed from above. Surrender the child. The Warden of Silence commands it. The girl froze. That name, and Warden of Silence, made her heart twist in fear and rage. Eli, bleeding but defiant, looked up at the ship. Come and take her, he muttered. The warship charged its main cannon. The air shimmered with energy. The world seemed to stop. Then the girl screamed. Light erupted from her body, made blinding, alive, endless. The ground cracked open, the snow melted away, and the ships in the sky trembled under the force of her power. The light wasn't fire or energy. It was something deeper, like the heartbeat of the universe itself. Eli watched in awe as the girl floated above the ground, her hair turning to silver fire, her eyes glowing like twin stars. The warship fired its cannon. The beam hit the light and shattered. The explosion tore through the sky, scattering alien ships like paper. The metallic beasts fell silent. Their red eyes faded to black. The earth stopped shaking. Eli blinked through the smoke, half blinded, barely breathing. The girl slowly descended, her light fading. She looked at him, tears running down her glowing cheeks. I didn't want to hurt them, she whispered, but they left me no choice. Eli smiled weakly, forcing himself to his feet. You did what you had to do, kid. Above them, the clouds parted. For a brief moment, the stars were clear again, and among them, a faint image of the mother, her silver eyes watching with pride. Her voice echoed softly, fading like wind over ice. My daughter has awakened. The light lives on. Eli looked up at the sky, awe and fear mixing in his eyes. What now? He asked quietly. The girl looked toward the horizon where the alien fleet burned. Now, she said, they will all come for us. And with that, the battle was over. But the real war had just begun. The battlefield was silent. The air still shimmered with the echo of power, the kind that changed worlds. Snow and metal lay scattered across the frozen valley, glowing faintly under the twin moons. Captain Eli Varon stood among the wreckage, breathing heavily, his uniform torn and burnt. The alien girl knelt nearby, weak but alive. Her light had dimmed, but the warmth around her still pushed back the cold. He looked at the ruins of the alien warships, their black hulls cracked open like broken shells. You did all that? He asked softly. The girl nodded faintly. The core woke when I felt fear. When you fell. Eli gave a tired smile. Guess I should fall more often. She tried to smile too, but her eyes were distant, sad. When the core awakens, it calls to the others. My mother's enemies will hear it. They'll come. He sat down beside her, resting his rifle across his lap. Then we'll be ready, one fight at a time. For a while, neither spoke. Only the soft wind whispered between the mountains. Then the sky shifted. The stars above moved, not naturally, but with purpose. Eli frowned. You see that? The girl looked up. Her eyes widened. She's here. The stars aligned into a glowing spiral, and from its center light poured down like a waterfall. Within it appeared the mother, the silver-eyed being from Eli's dreams, her form vast and shimmering, made of pure energy. Eli stood, speechless. You're real. The mother's voice filled the valley, soft but powerful. Human, you have done what even my people could not. You protected what you did not understand. Her gaze fell on the girl. My daughter, the light within you burns stronger now, but your path is still long. Tears fell from the girl's eyes. Mother, will I see you again? The mother smiled sadly. Not as I once was. My body is gone. My spirit sleeps within the stars. But through you and through him I remain. Eli blinked. Through me? The mother turned to him. When you wrapped her in your coat, you bound your fate to hers. The core recognizes your courage. It chose you as its guardian. Eli shook his head. I'm just a man. A soldier. I don't even understand half of what's happening. The mother's light flickered gently. Understanding is not required. Only faith and heart. Humans have always been stronger than they believe. The wind rose around them, lifting snow like glowing dust. The girl stepped closer to Eli, taking his hand. Then we go together? Eli nodded. Together. The mother extended her hand, and from her palm a small orb of light drifted toward them. It floated between them, pulsing softly. Take this, she said. The heart of Alara, the last piece of what was lost. Protect it, and it will guide you when the dark returns. Eli reached out. The orb touched his chest, sinking into him like warmth through skin. For a moment he saw visions. Endless stars, dying worlds, and the rise of a new dawn. He gasped as the images faded. The mother's voice grew fainter now, fading with the wind. Remember, human, the stars are not silent. They remember kindness and courage. Her light began to dissolve into the night sky, scattering into 1,000 sparks. The girl whispered, Goodbye, mother. As the last trace of her mother vanished, the pendant around the girl's neck stopped glowing, its energy now resting inside her heart. Silence returned. The world felt heavier yet strangely peaceful. Eli looked at her. So and what now? She turned toward the horizon where a faint golden light shimmered, the sign of dawn. Now, she said softly, we find the others, the lost worlds. We bring the light back, Eli smiled. And if the Warden of Silence comes knocking again? The girl's eyes glowed faintly blue. Then we make him remember why humans should never be underestimated. The first rays of morning broke over the mountains, shining on the ruins of the fallen fleet. A human and a child from the stars stood side by side, two sparks against an infinite darkness. Somewhere far beyond, the voice of the mother whispered one last time, The light endures, because humanity chose to protect it. And as the snow settled and the sky turned gold, a new story began, not of war or fear, but of hope, born between two worlds.